Sports Snippets, Dennis Sullivan here on a late Wednesday night. It's the 13th of January. How in the world are you doing? Getting ready for the playoffs to resume. NFL, we are down to a final 8 teams. That's it, guys. We're down to a final 8 teams. Chiefs are now getting into the mix. Bye week's over for them. Packers getting into the mix. Bye week's over for them. And I want to focus in on this particular video. One game that's really catching my attention, looking real interesting. The 5th seed Baltimore Ravens traveling into Buffalo to take on the Bills. I want to go over this game. I want to discuss it more in terms of like informative playoff preview, if you will. If you do like the content of this particular video, go ahead. Hit that like button. I would certainly appreciate it. It would certainly help the channel as well. That would be great. If you do want to subscribe to Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan, that would be fantastic as well. So let's get into it, guys. It's 2 versus 5. 2nd seeded Bills hosting the 5th seeded Ravens in the AFC playoffs. 13-3 Bills against the 11-5 Ravens. Now, of course, the Bills, being the home team, they are slightly favored to win this game. You can certainly say that the Bills probably should win this game, but it won't be easy because those Ravens are pretty tough. They certainly have their own style about them, and I really want to start there. The Ravens defeating Tennessee in the first round. Of course, Buffalo in a close one. They edged the Colts of Indianapolis. The Ravens, as all NFL fans are aware, this is a big, heavy-duty running team. Ground and pound would be like an understatement, guys. This is the #1 ranked running offense. They rack up about just under 192 yards a game on the ground. That's a lot. That's a lot of running, guys. Led by quarterback Lamar Jackson, who himself ran for over 1,000 yards during the regular season and over 6 yards per carry and 7 touchdowns. Finished with about 1,005 yards in a regular season, but then he erupted for like 130 yards against Tennessee in the first round of the playoffs. It's a 3-headed monster. They like to run that read option, do the Ravens. They have 2 pretty good running backs. Gus Edwards with a little bit over 700 yards during the regular season, about 723 yards. Rookie J.K. Dobbins would run for a little over 800 yards regular season at a 6-yard per carry clip and 9 rushing touchdowns, guys. Dobbins was a little banged up towards the end of the season, as we headed towards the end of the season. But he still wound up not only putting up pretty solid numbers, good numbers, and rushing 6 yards a carry, 9 rushing touchdowns, but J.K. Dobbins, is really like the wild card guy the way I see it. He got hot towards the end of the regular season. Bills are going to have to watch him. If you recall, he ran for about 160 yards against the Bengals. I believe that was the second to last game of the season. So Dobbins was picking up some steam. The Bills' run defense, as we know, it's been during the regular season. They can't let Baltimore jump out to an early lead and start controlling the clock, controlling the tempo with the running game, because you know that's exactly what they want to do. That's exactly what the Baltimore Ravens want to do. The Ravens, with their #1 ranked running offense, come in dead last, however, in passing in terms of yards per game. So they actually during the regular season, they threw for less yards than they actually ran for. Not by much. It's pretty close. 191.9 on the ground versus 182.4 in the air. So that is pretty interesting. You know what the Ravens are all about. There's no mystery. They want to run that football. When you add it all up, though, guys, the Ravens offense came in very average, if not slightly below average, believe it or not, in terms of yards per game. 374.4 They're a 19th ranked offense, and of course a very pass-happy NFL 2020-2021. So Jackson, I mean, during the season, he would only throw for about less than 3,000 yards. But if you look at him in terms of efficiency, quarterback rating, which I don't really pay too much attention to. I do pay a little bit of attention to it, but it doesn't usually, in my humble opinion, tell the full story. But Jackson did have a good touchdown-interception ratio during the regular season. 26 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions. The Ravens, guys, because they don't throw that much, I mean, you're not looking at any. They have 0 1,000-yard receivers. Marquise Brown, 58 catches, 769 yards, 8 touchdowns during regular season. They have a good tight end, Mark Andrews, 58 catches, just over 700 yards, 7 touchdowns, and Willie Snead, 432 yards and 3 touchdowns on 33 catches during the regular season. So this is definitely, guys, this is a run-oriented team if there ever was one. They're going against a Buffalo offense, which I'm going to get into in just a second, that was ranked in terms of yards 3rd, make that 4th overall in the entire NFL, coming in with the one and only Josh Allen. Now, we saw Josh Allen really stepping it up against the Colts. He really, I mean, not just with his arm, with his legs. I'm telling you right now, guys, Buffalo Bills are going to need a similar kind of performance from Josh Allen on Saturday night. They're going to really need him to, if he can, duplicate what he did against the Colts. The Bills passing, as mentioned, or overall offense, I should say, 4th overall, 3rd ranked passing offense, 299 yards a game, just over 299. A so-so rushing attack for the Bills. When you compare that to other teams, they come in at about just under 108 yards per game as a team for a 20th ranking in the NFL. So that's just something to consider. Now, the Ravens are going to come in with a higher-ranked defense in this one. They have a top 10 defense. They come in ranked in terms of yards per game regular season 7th. The Bills come in at 14th. I mean, that's not... For the Bills to have a 14th ranked defense, that's really not that bad, considering the fact that they throw the ball a lot, and they throw the ball successfully a lot, guys. I mean, during the regular season, you had Josh Allen over 4,500 yards during the regular season. So, not bad at all for the Bills to have that type of ranking defensively. But if you go to the first round of the playoffs, when the Ravens would defeat the Titans, Ravens defense looked pretty good on the road, guys. So, I mean, the Bills are going to have their work cut out for them. This is not going to be an easy game at all. I do like the Bills, though. And let's get into the breakdown. Now, we know about the injury to Zach Moss. I'm going to get into that in a second. Josh Allen, of course, coming in. MVP caliber season, over 4,500 yards passing, 37 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions in the regular season. Last week I was saying that I would have liked to see a little bit more of Devin Singletary in the game against the Colts. Guess what, guys? We very well could see that coming up against Baltimore, as Zach Moss will be out with the ankle injury. So in Moss, they're losing close to 500 rushing yards in the regular season, about 4.3 yards a carry and 4 rushing touchdowns. That's that's a fairly big loss, guys. Singletary, who comes in a little bit underutilized, you would think. I mean, he rushed for almost 700 yards, 4.4 yards a carry, very good. And he ran for 2 touchdowns. If you get a bigger dose of Singletary, which we might get, and we should probably get, you could see him have a big game here. They do have TJ Yeldon, who is interesting player. I mean, he was a pretty good player at Alabama, as you may recall, a few years ago. Has had a few pretty good games in the NFL, broken with the Jaguars a few years ago. Yeldon only carried the ball 10 times during the regular season for 70 yards for the Bills. But guess what, guys? TJ Yeldon he might get some significant playing time or some shall we say, meaningful playing time in this one. And don't be surprised if he factors in there somewhere. Of course, Allen rushing for over 400 yards and 8 rushing touchdowns Bills are going to need more of that. They're going to need Allen also on the ground to compensate as well. What can we say about Stephon Diggs? I mean, he's a monster year. Over 127 receptions, guys. Almost 1,600 yards, or over 1,500 yards, 8 TDs. Cole Beasley with the knee. You know, he still plays well, though. He plays well against Tennessee. He has 82 catches regular season, just under 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. Gabriel Davis is the wild card for the Bills. So by wild card, I'm like, watch this guy, watch that guy. I'm going to say this: Dobbins for the Ravens, Gabriel Davis for the Bills. Because Gabriel Davis is hot. He's had some good games. He's picking up a little steam. He's in his zone. He could have a nice game against the Ravens, or at least a couple of big catches to make all the difference. So keep an eye on that. If those are my 2 guys to keep an eye on, Dobbins for the Ravens, and Gabriel Davis for the Buffalo Bills. So I threw some regular season stats your way during this video. Wanted to kind of build it up as far as what to look for. I do think, though, that the Bills have just a little too much. They can answer you in many different ways, and I think that should be the difference. That should be the difference. The Bills' defense will be key, especially in the first half. They can't let the Ravens start running the ball right at them successfully, controlling the clock, that kind of thing, keeping Josh Allen off the field and all that stuff. So the Bill defense, actually, the pressure really is on them. So guys, let me know what you think. I've made a couple of videos this postseason regarding the Bills. I've seen tons of passion. The Bill fans are fired up, very passionate. Let me know what you think. And any Ravens fans out there, I know you guys are pretty fired up too, and you're very passionate. You've had a couple of Super Bowl teams over the years. Your coach Harbaugh has already won a Super Bowl as well. So guys, let me know what you think. This is Dennis Sullivan here, Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan. Go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe as well if you'd like. That would be awesome, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.